join me in a dance. Guys, we figured out our tech stuff. I don't know if you know this, Jason, but my character in Overwatch, Sombra, is a hacker, and I have...
Cash? $2 in your wallet. Next thing, you need to buy gas for your car, but you don't get paid for 2 days. Okay? What should you use? Cash?
Guys, we're live with Jason Marsden right now, who is for a Goofy movie, Hocus Pocus, which we need to talk about. Spirited Away, Young Justice, so many freaking things. And I know, like, we got a lot of anime fans in the house, a lot of animation fans in the house. Hey. You are in the Legend of Korra. Like, your IMDb is insane. So I hope you guys go right now to IMDb Pro or imdb.com and check out Jason, because once you scroll down the bazillion things, you'll have something.
No, don't go anywhere. Stay with us and we'll talk about it.
Well, right, but I want them to see
afterwards.
Well, I want them to be able to know, oh wait, he was in this, let me ask a question about that.
Oh, that's right. People multitask these days.
They do. They listen and they're going, oh my god, he's also in Temple House, same thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everyone's excited to have you. They're like, hey, Jason, what's up? Who is he in Legend of Korra? You know, so many exciting things.
Dig it. That's what people are saying now? Or
yeah, they're asking out. No, yeah, I'm reading the chat. They're asking these questions because they're excited.
Oh my gosh. I'm so overwhelmed.
I'm sorry.
Great to see you. How long has it been since I've seen you? It's been more than a year.
More than a year, because the pandemic's been a year. But we were.
Is that in Oregon?
No. We did a con of the hotel having breakfast, and then you came in and I'm like, hey, what's up? And then we had eggs together.
We did eggs together. What city was that?
Where was that? That was with Chloe in Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids, but it's been a year and a half.
Yeah.
Welcome. You look awesome with your shirt and your backdrop.
Thank you. I like bright colors. This is a local artist here in Nashville. I had her tie-dye. She's a musician. She does tie-dye, and I had her tie-dye a suit of mine. I had this old, like, cream-colored suit that I bought at Banana Republic. I was going to get rid of it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll just, like, dress it up, and I'll wear it to Burning Man or something. So she tie-dyed, and she gave me one of her shirts. There she is. Abigail is her name.
I love it.
Abigail, yeah.
Repurposing things.
Oh, yeah.
You are such an eclectic being. You have this backdrop for a show that you do.
Yes.
Tell us all about that so we can send these viewers there.
Please. So I started a show so I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I moved here in 2016, and I was just completely floored by the local music scene, which is more than just country, by the way. It's everything. And I started a show live here. I call it the Mars Variety Show, and it was kind of inspired by, like, old Dean Martin show or, like, Laugh-In or the Muppet Show, you know, variety-based, lots of different acts. Because the musicians are so good here that people take it for granted, and I've been places where, like, the singer-songwriter will be pouring their guts out on stage for, like, 6 people in the back just, like, on their phones. So I'm like, the performer in me could not accept that. So I'm like, how do you get people to pay attention? So I use this environment. So I called it like a relentless good time. No one had a chance to even look at their phones. You know, there's something going on stage. That's done. Lights out stage. Lights up at the bar. There's a skit at the bar. That's done. Lights out bar. Lights up in the middle of the room, and I'm working the room. So long story short, COVID happened. I've always dreamt of doing this as like a TV entity, so I did a YouTube version of it. It's called the Mars Variety Show.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. Please, when we're done, you know, go and find it and subscribe and watch all. It's like there's comedy and spoken word and me being a nut,
a goofy,
being a goofy guy, and this is the backdrop in it.
Amazing. So Tina Mickle is a follower of yours, and you sent her a print, and she loves your work. I've met her as well in Atlanta. She wants to share the link, but only our Maisie Grove can send the link. So send her the link, and she'll be able to share it. And that's awesome, because then we'll have people watching that. How cool!
Yes.
And you perform as well, then, when you
a little bit. I mean, I'm the host. You know, I do my best. I mean, I'm not on the level of the people I'm presenting, but I definitely have fun with it. What
made you move to Nashville in the first place? just because you love music?
No, I'd met a girl in Studio City, California.
Oh, cool.
She was from Tennessee, and then I'm from Rhode Island originally. And as we got closer, I would go with her to visit her family for Christmas instead of mine. And I'm telling you, are you from LA? Did you grow up here?
No, I was born and raised in the country of Colombia in South America.
Colombia, that's right.
But I didn't tell you this. I lived in Bristol, Rhode Island for 2 years, so I've been to Warwick.
Say
sure.
What? Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Bring that up. Yeah, because no one goes to Rhode Island, but I lived there for 2 full years.
I don't think I've never heard Bristol in forever. See, like Providence or Warwick, Narragansett, Bristol, yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Bristol. I went to middle school and high school in Warren. I would drive through Barrington to get to Providence. I used the bike path from Bristol all the way to Providence. I would rollerblade on it. So
you going to school there?
I went to 1 year of middle school and high school there because I moved up with my family for 2 years, and then we went back to Columbia. So I thought I'd go to Brown, but I didn't get in. So instead, I went to Boston College.
All right, dig it.
Yeah,
So you're so East Coastish.
Yeah, for sure. I learned how to say wicked. Yeah.
Wicked smart. She's wicked smart.
Yeah, but wicked hot.
Wicked hot. Yeah.
And the coffee cabinets and the grinders. And
yes.
Now grinders a different thing, but.
Do you remember what they called water fountains?
Bubblers.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So like a freaking South American learning how to talk Rhode Islandese, you know?
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. I lived there, born and raised until I was 8. Lived in Pittsburgh for a couple of years, and then the rest was just kind of visiting.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, when I discovered Nashville, like I thought I was going to live and die in Los Angeles because that's where my friends are, that's where my industry is. But I felt like this electricity hit my feet and go right up to my heart and my brain, telling me that like. Like every visit would just get longer and longer, and I couldn't help this voice in my head that said like, you belong here, you belong here, you belong here, and I followed that call, and that's
amazing. Yeah. And because we live in such a crazy cool world, you can fly out here if you need to. I'm sure you record most of your work for animation stuff from there because you have an insane talent for voice work.
Well, thanks.
Like, you have worked on so many video games, I couldn't keep track. And animation.
Have I? I've done enough. Video games is hard work.
What was the first animation that you worked on that you said, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place because I'm very excited to have you here. But
cool.
You started working on film and TV as a very young actor. Mm-hmm. And I just love that you also have this like slew of work in voice work. So when was it that like, you did all these episodes of TV and then all of a sudden, I'm really good at this voice, or I do myself in this animation and then that takes off too. Like, what was that first animated job that you said, this is my jam too?
I was 12 years old. I booked the Disney's Adventures of the Gummy Bears. It was my first. When I started, my agent sent me out for everything. It wasn't like my choice, but that was just one of the things I booked. And, I grew up watching cartoons. I watched Gummy Bears, and I've always sort of had an aptitude for it. It wasn't until I became like late teens, because I was doing a lot of animation, but it was most of my own voice. And when Aladdin came out, the Disney version of Aladdin came out, and they were going to do a TV series version. Robin Williams was not going to do the genie, so I was like, let me see if I can get in on that. So I wrote down as many impressions as I could do. I went to my agent, and I was with the youth division.
How old were you at this point?
I was probably 15 or 16.
Okay. You go-getter, you.
Yeah. And I did this monologue for him, incorporating all these things as the genie, but doing, these impressions. And he was like, wait here for a second. He walked me upstairs to the adult division. And the adult division, that's where they had like Dan Castellaneta, from the Simpsons and all these amazing voiceover guys, and they were impressed. They immediately started sending me out through the adult division, and they got me that interview with Disney, and I didn't book it, but then they realized, oh, this kid can do a little bit more than. The youthful sound, and then just kind of went from there.
And just be a cute face. Oh my gosh. Because at this point you'd already worked on incredible TV shows. At this point you'd already been on Boy Meets World, right?
No, I hadn't done Boy. That was later.
Oh.
No, I was
you
on.
You just have such a young face,
Right?
It feels like at 15 you would have already done that because they're technically in high school, right?
No, Boy Meets World, I was like 18 or 19 when I was doing that. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, because that was like 94. Yeah.
So at this point, you had done Full House.
Not even. I hadn't done Full House yet either. I think it was like Boy Meets World, and then I went overseas. I did this movie, and then I came back, and then I did Step by Step, and then Full House. Yeah.
I just want to sing all these songs. Step by step. Day by day. When you said you went overseas to shoot this movie, was it White Squall?
Yes.
Okay, that movie shot in 8 countries.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, because that's.
Oh man.
That seems like the most incredible experience, and you were so.
Carolina, I just unearthed 6 hours of home video footage I took from that experience.
Holy cow.
And I watched it all last week, and I'm turning it into like a mini documentary series. I'm gonna put it on my YouTube channel because I think you get a kick out of it. But I have like stuff on set. For those who haven't seen the movie, it takes place on a sailing ship that gets caught in a storm.
Ridley Scott film.
A Ridley Scott film. I got shots of Ridley directing. I got shots of all the other actors being knuckleheads. I cringe at my 20-year-old self.
Yes.
Out of my element. It was.
But you had to have this sense that this is before iPhones. This is before anyone's really recording behind the scenes footage like you were doing. That's incredible. You had a sense of this is going to be something really cool at some point.
Well, I just liked I like capturing reality. I like capturing behind the scenes stuff, and I believe I'm going to do a montage of people being like, get that out of my face, Marsden. What are you doing? Stop that. Eventually they embraced it, but I had the camera like we're doing this complex effects filled shot with water and lightning and all this stuff, and I just put the camera. It's like a camcorder, like a high-end camcorder, just in the corner on the set on the ship, and while they're rolling stuff, I did that all the time. I'm like, they wouldn't let me do that now. Yeah, I will show it to you. You'll see it.
Yeah, I'm excited for when you publish this on your YouTube channel because it's going to be opening up a little chest that you put under the ground, 15 years ago,
a little time capsule.
Oh my! Thank you. The word I was looking for was time capsule, but I just wasn't thinking in English. Holy cow! So when you came back from that, you're going. I just had the most epic experience of my life. But then you just went straight into other friggin' TV shows because you were
I was very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. Yeah.
Well, very fortunate, very talented.
Well, thank you. But I've been doing this for 35 years, and as well as I do as an actor, there's ebbs and flows. I liken it to being like a professional gambler. Like you say, you're really good at blackjack. You go to a table, you play blackjack, you're really good at it. But sometimes, most of the time, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll make your money back. Sometimes you'll hit big. That there was a streak in the 90s that was really hot, and then things change, things go up and down, but it was definitely fortunate.
With all of these experience on experiences on these amazing sets that, yes, in the 90s were like the TV shows, right?
Yes.
Have you ever felt the need or the want to direct and produce? I mean, I know you're doing that now, this variety show, but a feature film or work on TV in that capacity. Because you have the vision for that kind of stuff, for putting these things together.
Thank you. I did direct. I got in the DJ and everything. I did this episode of this Nickelodeon show, and I did some music videos independently, and I did a short in an anthology movie. And I would definitely love to do a feature length thing. It's compartmentalizing my life, and I always have my hands in so many different things, and so it depends on the season what I'm interested in. But now I'm definitely I'm writing a feature. I'm writing a pilot for myself. The feature I want to direct. But oh yeah, I love all aspects of this biz.
You're a true Renaissance man. Really, doing all sorts of things.
Does that make you want a Renaissance man? I'm wearing a tie-dye shirt in my sweats. I don't feel Renaissance right now.
Look, it's about all the different pots boiling and bubbling at different temperatures. And what's one of the you've gotten to work with some really amazing people as a very young little person. Is there a story that you were like, oh my God, that one time, this one actor said this to me? Or I just love these stories where because you've gotten to work with so many incredible people. Can you think of a moment where you
Yeah, there's a couple of things.
Alex Mack, whatever.
There's a couple of the White Squall, I guess, because we're still talking about that, stayed in my head. So here's the thing. Most of my career it was sitcoms. The first series I did was a sitcom. It lasted 3 seasons. That was my wheelhouse. That was my product. I'm good in front of an audience. I'm good with comedy. And White Squall was not a comedy. It was a dramatic feature film, big budget thing, a Ridley Scott thing. And I learned a lot of hard lessons doing that, especially as one of several male actors who we all got along, but there's, we're always trying to, fight for screen time a little bit. And I definitely, my ego tried to fight for screen time. And there was, we started in the Caribbean in St. Martin, and we do a table reading, and my character's the first mate of the ship. So I'm always like, set the main! Get over here! What? You're supposed to swim today, John Stone, what are you doing? I'm always yelling at people. And after the table read, I get a phone call that Jeff Bridges, who's the captain in the movie, wanted to have dinner with me that night. I was like, shit, Jeff Bridges, that's amazing.
Bridges!
And yes, this is before The Big Lebowski and all that. And we go to this restaurant, which is literally next door to our hotel on the beach. And we're sitting down. He's just like, he's eating. He's like, let's do an improv. Just get up and leave, go out and come back in. And you come back in, you'll be Shay, and we'll just improvise the scene. And Carolina, I was terrified because I wasn't used to improv. When you do sitcoms, the comedy's there. It's written for you.
Yeah, and it's got like a tempo.
Yeah. Improv is completely out of my wheelhouse because I like to be in control. And improv is like, you must relinquish control and allow what happens to happen. So I'm like, you want me to leave? I say, yeah, just get up, go in the middle of this busy restaurant. And so I do. I come back and we start improvising, and he's talking to me as the captain. And he's asking me about the way that I talk to the other crew members and the way I yell at them and stuff like that. And what I gleaned from that is I think it was an acting lesson. I think it was like, do I have to keep being loud for all these guys? How can I communicate with these characters without having to do that? I think it was a subtle thing that maybe, if I ever see Jeff again, I don't know if he'll remember, but I would love to ask him if that was just like this subtle acting lesson, because that's what I gleaned from that. It was tough. There was one scene, if you don't mind me going on.
I don't, please. And I'll shout out someone who's saying hi in a very strange way, but I'll let you know what that is after your story.
Okay. there's this one, it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. We're doing a scene, it's just a one-shot scene where the captain's below deck, Jeff Bridges below deck, and I have to come down and tell him that the crew is throwing up. They're seasick. And my line is, Captain, the crew is doing group boot over the side. So group boot, meaning they're all throwing up over the side. Yeah. So they roll action and I go down like, Skipper, the crew is doing a group boot over the side. Cut. Ridley's like, just say the line. I'm like, okay, all right. I thought I just said the line. All right, that's all right. So I do it again. Skipper, the crew, cut. Just say it. We did like 10 or 15 takes. I was mortified. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And then finally, and it's in the movie. I just come out like, Skipper, the crew's doing group boot over the side. Just that. They just want me to say it. I was affecting it. I was trying to make it about me. I was trying to make it this comedic bit, and it's just simplicity. And I was.
People need the symbol. They need a cap.
Are you ready?
Where do we start?
Whole squad ready. You say you ready. Whole squad ready. Ready. Is you ready? Are you ready? Ready. Is you ready?
Hello, girl. Kick your eyes.
Whole squad ready.
And as I was
Huawei GT2 Pro, la nueva elegancia del arte. Mide tu ritmo cardíaco y saturación de oxígeno. Adquiérelo en tienda en línea Telcel.
getting older, I was being confronted with that a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you get this as a voiceover actor, but do you read commercially?
Yeah.
The toughest thing for me is the whole, we want it non-announcery, not slick, not polished, you know?
Yeah.
It's so foreign to me. It's such a weird thing. And I think it's because I've been too conditioned as a comedic actor.
Yeah, and you also worked on sitcoms that had a cadence, a rhythm, and everything, and that's how they would work. And the laughs, or the laugh track, or the real in-person, audience. I don't know how it all worked. So I think they are different animals, But what a beautiful experience that Jeff Bridges takes interest, because I do believe it was probably that, And I'm sure he remembers that too. We don't forget these things. Going to dinner with a young kid and giving him a Sadaraki lesson, but I'm sure he also had that at some point in his career where someone was like,
right, probably, yeah,
the line, yeah,
sure,
totally,
sure.
Wow, that's so fascinating. And Jeff Bridges has gone on to win Oscars and stuff. How crazy for being nominated. I can't remember who's won and who hasn't, but he's just so amazing.
Yes, he is.
So somebody says, "What's up, you sexy MFs?"
Mom? I didn't know you knew. Mom, I don't know you had Twitch.
Guys, he's really good at comedy and timing. His username is Craig KD. I don't know this person.
I think I have a restraining order against him.
If memory serves correctly, somewhere along the lines of my life, I think I also have one. Yes, he is trolling us.
We know we're friends with Craig Cady, who I last saw performing on stage at the Schermerhorn here in Nashville, Tennessee, playing with Frankie Valli.
Oh, cool! Was that right before the pandemic?
Thing, yeah.
Yeah, I call it. They have a little bounce that they do. That
yes,
really
they do.
Appreciate. Yes.
What's up, Craig? I miss you, Craig.
This message was maybe 5 minutes ago. I don't know if he's currently on watching or listening, but we'll see. He may not be. And the other thing I wanted to mention to the chat was you're also friends with Anjali Bhimani.
Yes.
Correct?
Through Craig, actually. Oh,
cool. Tell me about that, because a lot of people watching love Overwatch, and that's how I met Anj. Oh, Craig is still here. Purple heart. So how did that all go down? Because there's Symmetra fans in the audience.
There's Craig and friends are like an LA group of friends that this community that kind of welcomed me into their fold, and I met Angelique through that. I actually didn't even realize that she was an actor until I saw her at a convention.
The con.
I hadn't played video games in forever. I wasn't hip to what was going on, but we'd hang out socially at these fun, freedom community events.
Yeah. Oh, super cool. I love it. So there you go, guys. Haku meets Symmetra.
Yes.
Haku.
Is that your character on Overwatch?
No, Symmetra is Anjali's. Mine is Sombra. You're a Haku. Am I correct?
You could call me Master Haku.
Master Haku.
Yes.
Talk to me about working on the dub for Spirited Away, because that's like of anime, there are top things, and that's just up there. Holy cow!
It was great. I've said this before. I've never heard of Miyazaki beforehand. I wasn't. It's not that I was against anime. I just never gravitated towards it as a youth. It wasn't a lot in my network. So when I found out about this, it was just another audition. I read for it in my closet, and like a month later, they're like, "Yeah, you booked this movie. It's a big deal. John Lasseter, is introducing his pal Miyazaki to an American audience, and this movie's already made like more money than Titanic in Japan, and Miyazaki's the Disney of Japan." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. All right." Went in. I think it was like 2 or 3 days. In a sound studio, just doing the dub, and I've always been good at doing ADR. It's like a game to me, and they only showed me the scenes that Haku was in, because they don't have time to show you the whole thing, but they kind of directed me as like, what was preceding this, what's leading up to that, and I didn't actually see the entire movie finished for another 3 months after that, after they got everyone recorded and mixed it together, and that's when I realized, holy shit, this is pretty amazing. I'd never seen anything like it. Just the look of it, the story of it, and then it was very well received. Won an Academy Award. No thanks to me, really. No, you watch it in English or the original dub. It's still it's fantastic on its own. They flew me to Toronto for the premiere of it. I got to meet Mr. Miyazaki-san.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's a little guy like me, chain smoker, and super nice. He and his producer were super nice to me. It was great. What's he like? Anchormania, that's his or her favorite film. They're commenting on the chat. Is he this very like quiet, subdued? I imagine Miyazaki very like, I am a genius, but I don't talk a lot. Arigato. Master Miyazaki. Yeah. He didn't speak a lot of English, but his presence was just this regular guy, this very this artist. My wife at the time was taller than me, and she was with me on this trip. She was like 5'8", and she's tall. I mean, that's tall. That's a tall woman. That's tall for a 5'1" guy. It's a nice Amazon. I like it. And she smoked at the time, and she's from Tennessee, and Tennessee has this like make themselves at home kind of mentality. So we're in like the film festival in the theater, and you can't smoke in the theater, but they did section off like an area just for Miyazaki-san to get his fix. So he was going to smoke, and my ex-wife didn't think anything about just being like, "Hey, I'm going to go with him. I'll be right back." I'm like, "No, I think you're not supposed to, but okay, it's too late." And I'm talking to the people, and I'm looking back in the corner, and he doesn't speak English. She doesn't speak Japanese. All I see them is like laughing, smoking. She's like slapping him on the back. This good old time. My God, I love it. So good. The memory I have of that. So where did you learn the san portion of Japanese and speaking to people you respect, or like, because that's beautiful, and I'm just curious. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, and I took Taekwondo for not enough time. I took Taekwondo long enough to realize that I don't ever want to get hit in the face, and I don't ever want to hit people in the face, so I'm just going to stop doing this. But that was implored in me at there. They say, or you refer to your sensei,
Yeah. Oh, super cool. Have you been watching Cobra Kai, talking about senseis?
No, I watched the first episode and I loved it, and I keep forgetting to watch the rest.
Fun. Yeah, no, I've watched it because my friend's in it. She plays the eventual love interest of Billy Zabka. But and I bumped into them at convention, so I'm like, I need to catch up with this to see what's up.
Right on.
They've been doing the convention, but the whole sensei thing, and I'm just like, that's where my brain goes.
Sure.
So I have a very very personal question. You can decide if you
Let me get close
or not.
Yes.
What does it feel like to play a character called Schnookums in a show called Marsupilami? I'm guessing I'm gonna hit like a chord here, and I just wanted to prepare you.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing. That was a big deal for me. That was, for those who don't know, because you probably don't, it was a very short-lived blip in Disney Afternoon history, but it was like Disney Afternoon, attempting like a Ren and Stimpy type show. Yeah. And it was a dog and a cat. And it was a huge deal for me because, number one, it was my first role that I booked that was not my own voice. It was like a youthful voice. I think I was 16 or 17 at the time. Schnookums was like, this Italian guy, he had this big bravado sort of like thing here. And I was so happy that I booked it. And I was even more excited the fact that the guy that was playing Meat, the dog, was one of my favorites, Frank Welker.
Oh, man.
Frank Welker, who I'd never met, who I only, he was a legend in mine eyes and ears, from Gremlins and Raiders of the Lost Ark and Scooby-Doo. And it was just he and I being paired up together. It was a good time. They're great. They're very funny. They're very wacky cartoons, produced by Bill Kopp and Jeff DeGrandis, and it was a good little stepping stone for me.
That's amazing. I meant to ask you, you go into this Italian guy real easily, and maybe we all do because we love this such a stereotype, but what's your heritage in Rhode Island? Are you Italian, like Italian Rhode Island, or you're not Portuguese Rhode Island?
No, it's funny? So I don't know my biological father. Mm-hmm. Legend has it of Jewish descent, because I thought for sure Italian because of the dark hair and East Coast, Rhode Island is, mafia owned pretty much.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah, totally.
I don't know. I should do one of those, what was it? 53andMe? What do they call it?
22 and 23andMe.
There's a number and what is 53?
Yeah, I don't know.
Other past lives.
63 shades of gray. It's different. Well, okay, cool. Because when I lived in Rhode Island, Bristol, and Warren they're completely Portuguese. What they call they refer to themselves as Portuguese because a lot of them came over from the Azores. And for the most part, to me, Rhode Island in my head is mostly Portuguese, and then Providence and East Providence are Italian. Oh wait, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in East Providence. See, there's pockets.
I didn't know. I was too young to be.
Oh yeah, I guess you moved. I was in high school, so I was understanding the areas. But you moved pretty young to LA, right, to pursue it all. Yeah. So 23andMe, we are told by Sean, Mr. Wick, that it is 20. And he loves you, by the way. The comments have been great. So excited to meet you virtually because he loves a lot of the projects.
Bless you, my man. Yes. Thank you.
So let's talk about Hocus Pocus.
Let's do it.
I'm sure every freaking November rolls around and you get residual checks from Halloween because, we don't need to talk about like if they're $1.50 or $5 at this point because it's been a while. But like that movie is a movie that I will watch on a plane when Halloween rolls around because it's just so much fun.
Just on a plane?
Planes are special for me. I choose movies that like I just want to like it's a little time capsule for me. Yeah. So and I don't pay for those things on the TVs. So I wouldn't just come across Hocus Pocus on my computer. Nobody's gonna be bugging me. I'm just
do you like flying? Are you cool with flying?
Oh my God, I love flying. Yeah, okay. I love this. She connects to the internet to work. I don't. When I'm on a plane, nobody can bug me. I'm going to receive my little wine and I'm going to watch my movie and eat the disgusting food they feed me. And it's great.
I don't know. You have a fantastic personality. We and I have talked, before, but are you like this? Because when I'm on a plane, I love talking to people too. When I'm on a plane, I don't like fucking talking to anybody. Not even a person next to me. Nope, don't wanna.
Okay, so I will never sit next to you on a plane.
No, you'll be fine. Just I'll give you like 5 minutes and then watch your Hocus Pocus.
No, I agree. For the most part, I do like, thank you. Hi, nice to meet you. Oh, John. Okay, great. Movie. Once in a while, I have sat next to, Billy Zabka from, Cobra Kai. We sat next to him. Well, yeah, thank you so much. Very obvious about putting the headphones on, yes. But I agree. I think planes are a really nice place to just
Yeah, I don't know why that is. I don't know why a reserve like that has to be like.
So that you can cry to movies like Shrek by yourself.
Yeah.
Have you heard that thing about how we cry more on planes?
No.
Oh, so I don't know if it's true, but I've read that because of, I guess, the oxygenization, the pressurization, that's why you'll find yourself watching, Notting Hill, and then at the end you're just bawling and you don't know why because you never really cried like that when you watch. Rom-com, and I'm like, this hasn't happened before, and it might be because of the atmosphere or whatever's happening.
Yeah.
But
if someone on the plane next to you starts talking to me long enough, I'll start crying.
Okay, that's good.
I just can't do it anymore, man.
Wait, so back to the residual checks. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
Back to Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
Did you get to go? You were the voice of Binks.
Yes.
Did you get to go on set for this, or was it like an ADR thing? Did you get to prep with the team? Because that is a freaking classic, man.
It's a little of both. It's a very interesting story. So, yes, I was on the set, but that was before I booked the job. I was working on Boy Meets World, and I knew Omri, who plays Max in the movie. I knew him we did a series together in the early 90s. And I knew Vanessa Shaw because we had mutual friends. So I would go over and say hi to them. It wasn't until...
It was just easy. You just show up on set and say hi to people. That was cool.
I crash sets all the time. I love working on a studio lot and walking. I mean, I've been on the set of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Back to the Future 2, Dick Tracy. I would just hop on just to see it. I just love it,
Yeah. They didn't have to COVID test you before going?
No.
I'm kidding.
This is way before. I know it's so crazy. Security was so relaxed.
Yeah.
And you're on the lot, and I think No, I mean, no one ever gave me any problem with it.
Well, you also weren't like random PA wanting to watch. You were working on another show, and clearly they like you were an actor.
Maybe, but there definitely wasn't like some movies are like closed set. Can't go in.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just don't care. So it wasn't until after they finished principal photography that they were in post production, and Binks was like, I think about 75% already animated. Is when they cast me. Sean Murray, who's a fantastic guy. We've known each other since we were kids. He was cast as the human Thackeray and the voice. And I think he was using his own voice. And at some point, again in post-production, they're like, Binks is supposed to be from, old colonial Salem, 300 years, maybe it wouldn't sound like, maybe it'd sound a little bit more old world. So I read for it. That's what I did, and I booked it, and then I had to go in and loop that. And the frustrating thing for me about looping is, I talk fast, or if I want to indulge in a moment, I can't because I'm stuck to this lip flap. So that was the only frustrating part of that. But who knew? The movie came out in July of 94, 95, and came and went. And I never would have thought every year now people it's a huge thing. It just seems to balloon even bigger.
Yeah. And I think that we live in a nostalgia time where we love going back to the things of the 90s. I think Halloween and social media have just made dressing up as the Three Witches this thing.
Yes.
And I also think that those performances that those three ladies give are so fabulous. Sarah Jessica Parker is brilliant in this. The three of them all. They each have their thing, and it's once I watched it just to observe Sarah Jessica, because while the other ones, what's her name is doing this with her teeth over here, and then Sarah Jessica's I'm just gonna eat my hair right now, and if you take your eyes off of her, you're going to miss it, And I truly think, wow, I didn't realize she was such a nut,
Oh, the synergy between the three of them, outstanding. And Kenny Ortega, who directed that, he directed the High School Musical movies. He's a choreographer. So there is music to their mania. Yeah. And a little bit of a Three Stooges kind of thing happening too. But that's what I like. Dancers and musicians make such great directors because you cannot simulate that rhythm. Yeah, they know how to make things move and stuff, and that I think is what really sells that movie, especially just the three of them.
Yeah, that's just amazing that you get to look back on your career that is still going. Because it's not like you're 85 and retiring, and there's just these incredible projects you've gotten to work on with fabulous people that were just huge at the time that oh my God, Boy Meets World. I wanted to be Topanga. Do you know what I mean? And so the fact that you've been involved in all of these is just so special,
Isn't it crazy, Carolina? And we'll be old people and people still covet, Overwatch. They'll still covet, Disney entities, and we'll have, we've set ourselves in stone in a way. We're part of history. If everything gets, if the aliens come and rescue us, maybe the fallout will still be part of it. Maybe they'll uncover the dust.
Aliens on another planet are step by step. I'm sure they have access to these things.
Snookums and meat. That's what I
The funny thing is, though, growing up in South America, there was you could pay for DirecTV, which at some point my parents started doing, and then we'd get certain channels like WB and a few American channels. And so as a kid, I remember Tuesday nights were for Full House and Wednesday nights were for Step by Step or whatever. But we only had access to a few American TV shows because it wasn't Netflix. You couldn't just watch whatever the heck you wanted. Sure. So we got fed these things that were very iconic for me growing up in Colombia. And I didn't watch the dubbed version because it was terrible. And the laugh track was even more horrible. We watched it in English because
really? Okay.
The original stuff. Yeah. So then Goofy Movie is another one of the fan favorites. Tell me about Max, and he sounds very much like you because you have a really, really young, beautiful voice.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So tell me about this experience. You know, like what was it like? That was a huge, animated movie. You know.
Yeah, I mean we didn't know at the time. Again, I'm a big Disney fan. It was a huge deal to book that for me. I again solidified myself in like Disney history. I mean, Goofy's son. How much closer can you get?
Right.
Classic characters, And it was I hadn't done an animated feature before, so it was a more drawn out process as opposed to a video game or a TV show. You're in there for like 1 or 2 days. Yeah. This was like a couple of dozen sessions over the course of a year and a half, and it was. I just did a podcast with Bill Farmer, Goofy, and Kevin Lima, our director, just reminiscing about it yesterday. It was, and in hindsight, like it was a dream. There was no real stress for me. It was. There were things behind the scenes that happened, like the Mucky Mucks didn't want Goofy to sound like Goofy. They were afraid it was going to be too jarring for in this grounded story of a father-son to have him be like, "Oh, Goofy, oh, yuck." So they wanted to get like Steve Martin just to use his own voice. They asked Bill Farmer to do just his own voice, like just his natural, like sort of Kansas, sort of like soft-spoken sort of sound. So that was like stressful for Billy. Sure, yeah. But ultimately,
and he's also like the sweetest man on earth.
My favorite part about doing cons with Bill is because Billy is like this, normal looking older dude. At him, and he'll be like with his reading glasses on, looking at his phone. They're like, "Are you Goofy?" And he looks up at him. And he goes, "Well, gosh, I sure am." And they melt. They just melt. I love it. It brings him so much joy. And he nailed that job. He nailed it. We talk about, people ask you, I'm sure, all the time, like, how do I get into voiceover? Or, I do this great impression, I should get into voiceover. And it's more than that. You have to be able to perform, And Billy really, really delivered a grounded performance, and at the same time was able to embody this, quote unquote Goofy character. And people loved it, and people 25 years later, they still love it. It's great. It still holds up. It's still great. It pleases me to no end.
Absolutely. And I think that I didn't understand when I started getting invited to cons. I'm like, people come over to my table and geek out when I do sombra. Like, I don't get it. And then, I've met people at cons of cartoons I used to watch. Like, I used to love Winnie the Pooh, and I have an ongoing joke with my sisters. And so there's this one episode where all he says is summer squash, summer succotash, something like this, and it's just like it's the funniest thing, Yeah. And then the voice of Gopher is at Anime Expo, and I'm like, nice. Dude, you don't understand. Like, this is the thing in my family, so I get it. When you hear this like adult human like Bill Farmer, doing the Goofy voice, you kind of just can't comprehend what's happening, and it's really exciting.
Yes, indeed.
One of the questions that Anchormania has is that you've expressed you've always wanted to be an animator. Do you consider going down that path anytime soon?
Thank you for asking that question. And no, not on any sort of official level. I mean, I love to draw, but I like animators, like they draw all the time. I have too much. It's like, reading, baking, drawing, hobby. I'm learning about bees. I mean, like I can't just do one thing.
Yeah.
I would like to really take what's the word, properly trained, classically trained. Like, I would really love to take some art classes. I've been doing Bob Ross on YouTube.
Oh my God, so great.
Do you do anything creative? Do you have any creativity?
No, I don't. I don't.
You cook? You know any good Colombian dishes?
Oh yeah, I love arepas. They're like a corn patty that we have for breakfast. Yeah,
yes.
I buy those though here and then make them. I'm a crazy brunch maker. Like, come over to my house, I will give you like a 5-star brunch. I love it. And my sister and I have been cooking a lot during pandemic, and we've been exploring more recipes with fish and stuff like that. Creatively though, like I'm always dabbling. Like you, I feel like if a friend's a photographer, I'll be like, let's make up a photo shoot and go do it. I started a web series where I play a bunch of sketch comedy characters. I also put it on my YouTube channel, and it was like, this was like 6 years ago when I was like stuck in a place in New York where like I wasn't booking jobs because I like didn't look Latina enough, but I didn't look quite Caucasian, and I just hated the industry. So I just started doing my own stuff, and I think we always have to be, inventing something to keep us going until other stuff is paying the bills.
Yes.
But LA has been great to me with the voice world, because New York I only did commercials in Spanish for radio, which, they pay the bills, but they're really, they're not fun. They're soul crushing. So
sure, especially if you're not into the product. You're booking something like, I wouldn't buy this, but all right.
I know. I sold. Well, Gillette I do use, but McDonald's, Burger King in Spanish, stuff like that. And I feel like the voice community has been so welcoming here, and I've gotten to work, I got to work on Scooby-Doo, which was super exciting, but it was in my closet, so I didn't get to record with the cast, which would have been fun. So silly stuff like that. But I feel like, there are so many different ways to express our creativity nowadays, especially. And I was just going to say, I'm really glad that you get to perform, do your show online because of the pandemic, but you're still bringing people together. Do you have them all on Zoom so that performances can happen?
No, it's all pre-shot and cut together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you kind of have to, right? Sometimes the internet goes down and you're like, and the next band doesn't have internet right now. So,
well, what I'm trying to do is more like classic television, and believe me, I'd love to do it live, but I just don't have the resources to do that. Especially during COVID. I'm sure it's possible. I'm just not there yet.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen. Even if you do have somebody, helping you figure out the logistics, it's still just a lot, because tech is always going to screw you over,
Yes, that and it's good you have your lovely Danny who's helping us out. Shout out to Danny P who's helping making this run smoothly. But to deal with there can be some unruly people in chat, from what I understand, and having a moderator is essential, and fielding things left and right. I don't have that team just yet.
Yeah. Well, you can always reach out on the Twitterverse to people who love your work, and they'll help.
I know, right? I know. My problem is
tech.
I have people who are like, how can I help you do this? And in my brain, I'm like, I don't know what to delegate to you. It's like, I like to do everything myself. And then I like to commiserate that I'm doing everything myself.
Well, it is finding the balance, because for sure, when people are like, well, let somebody handle your Instagram. I'm like, no, that doesn't seem real. I want to do the post. But I do feel like sometimes you need help, not you, with creating content, or I used to edit all of my YouTube videos, and now Danny helps me, and it's godsend.
Oh my gosh.
It's time consuming when we're trying to create all these things and keep up with all the platforms. So help is definitely, when you find the way to delegate, it's a helpful thing. I had one more question about working on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh yeah.
That's another, I made notes on a few things, but I was scrolling and there's just so much. What was it like? That's another epic, show that goes down in history, talk to me about what it feels like to be that and to be Schnookums, in one same sentence.
It's great. I was a fan. I was a fan of. I look back at.
Are you a nerd? Are you a nerd for Star Trek, Star Wars, comic books, or what's your?
My nerddom resonates with cartoons. I'm more Star Wars than Star Trek, but I did love Next Generation. I had comic books, but I was more into like action figures, that sort of thing, animation. But what was the question about Next Generation?
No, just about working with them, because it's it's just such a big thing on so many people's radars that you're always wondering, like, was it a dream come true to work with them, or you're like, they weren't that nice on.
No, for Next Generation, it was just a voiceover job. It was it was looping. Brent Spiner, who played Data, accesses an audio log from the past, and it's my voice coming out of his mouth. So it was just like a day in an ADR stage. But when I would meet him at events, that was my in. Be like, hey, my voice came out of your mouth. I did do an episode of Deep Space Nine. That was where I was on camera and I was in makeup and everything, and that was a blast. Because I love being in makeup. A big fan of Next Generation. LeVar Burton was our director. Michael Dorn was in it.
Holy cow! Yeah,
and I got to see all the, get really look close at the set and be like, "What's that made?" That's just a bunch of Evian bottles spray painted. That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So to wrap up,
yes.
What? This has been such a fun hang. Selfishly, I just love getting to know people more on this stream. Yes, it's for the chat, for them to watch and learn, but I'm also geeking out and excited it's an excuse to hang with people that I admire. Because of COVID, we can't meet in person. Not that I would have gone to.
I was so happy that you reached out to me.
Oh, yay.
I was like, she probably doesn't remember me.
Liar! I just don't constantly text you and say, "Hey, how's Tennessee, man?" What are you working on right now that you can talk about, that you're excited for people to see soon? If you haven't signed crazy NDAs, where can we direct them on your socials and your YouTube channel? I know Danny shared it, but we can share it again.
Well, yeah. I think this just came out. I did a Warcraft expansion, so you think you might hear me in that.
Warcraft expansion?
I think so. And there's a straight to VOD DC animated feature that I'm part of. That's all I can say. And
holy cow!
Gosh, another video game I can't talk about. But I'm doing more. Just auditioning. I'm doing more. I'm preparing for more Mars Variety Show. I'm really taking my time this time. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be I'm proud of everything that you'll see if you go to Mars Presents channel on YouTube. Mars Presents, or just search the Mars Variety Show, and a lot of selfie performances. Because COVID sent it to me. I'm gonna try to get a stage and get people recorded properly so I can present these amazing. I mean, they're amazing musicians and stand-up comedians that I feel people really need to know about. And I'm also working on stuff for my personal YouTube channel, which is a collection of personal video essays, including behind the scenes of White Squall. I have a behind the scenes of the Garfield show that's all ready to go.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
I'm so excited. That's gonna be gold. It's just going to be so beautiful because it's going to have that quality as well. It's you years ago. There's just going to be so much nostalgia and beauty there. Holy cow.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Looking at 20-year-old me, I didn't see a lot of beauty.
Dude, come on. People have been saying you're a hunk. Stop it. Oh, my God.
Oh, I meant the beauty of my, my attitude and you ever look back at things you've written or said when you were 20 or 15, what was I thinking? But I'll put all that out there with humility.
Super. Yeah. I think that as artists, we're always putting stuff out, and even a year later, you go, "Oh, what was that?"
Mm-hmm.
So
cancel culture.
Cancel Jason for being a cocky little 20-year-old. Actually, I don't even think you were cocky. You were probably super excited to be You're so curious, you know. I'm sure you were just like, what's Ridley doing now? And he's like, get the camera out of my face, kid. But that's so fabulous. Do you want to bear with me? I have 4 shout outs to do at the end of this stream, and then we disconnect. And I've been doing this, and it's been fun. You can join in or not. I thank somebody for subscribing, and then you can shout them out in a funny voice that you'd like to use.
Yes, I would love to do that.
Tina Mickle, thank you for subscribing with Prime.
Tina Mickle? Tina, hopefully you're not a virgin. That's a very personal question. You don't have to answer that. But if you aren't, you are free to approach the Black Flame candle. Thank you for subscribing.
There we go. Great. Tina Mickle also gave out 5 tier 1 community sub gifts. Just say thanks, Tina, again or something in your Max voice, whatever.
Tina, that was a yucking amazing. I think we can take you backstage to Powerline. I think that equates to that.
Amazing. Okay, so this is Merciera, who's in Wales, has asked for a Ray's voice line. Ray's is my Brazilian character in a video game by Riot Games called Valorant. So I'll do the voice line, and you can choose to try and copy it or not. I don't know. Okay. So you listen to the weirdest music. Lots of how do you dance to it?
Wow! Hi, I'm Chester from Fairly Odd Parents, and I think you're just super cool. I do that it's all the time, but it's me just trying to get food out of my braces.
Yes! Thank you, that was great. And the last one is a Ray's voice line, also my Brazilian character, for Danny, because she likes to give me shit. She's also Maisie Grobe on the chat, and my character screams, "Oh, obliterated!" Ta-da!
Oh my goodness.
Guys, thank you for joining us. Yuck! They're loving your yuck. Oh my gosh, can you do a Max voice line, and I'll just try to imitate it because it's fun.
Yes. Oh, hey, you know, it's hard to be cool when your dad is goofy.
Oh, hey, it's kind of hard to be cool when your dad's goofy. I lost it at the end. I don't even know. Anyways.
You got the job, kid.
Yeah, thank you so much. They're like, that was adorable. Thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to join. This was super fun. Thank you, Craig, for watching. You are so talented, man, and you have such an incredible resume. I hope that you wake up every morning and remember all of that stuff, because
Thank you.
I'm mind blown.
Thank you. I'm very, like I said, I'm very fortunate. I'm very proud of everything I've done. I'm so astounded at what I've accomplished. And you, young lady, are no slouch. You are very talented, and you burst with rainbows all the time.
Like a backdrop.
I can't wait, like the backdrop, and I can't wait to share space with you again.
I hope so. And if you ever need us to reshare anything for your YouTube channel, I'm happy to retweet and share on the Insta, because I think the more we cross-pollinate our fan bases, they get to see really cool work that we're all working on. So feel free to always say, yo, I got this tweet out there, especially for the variety shows.
Dig it. Thank you. Thank you so much, of course, awesome. And vice versa.
Guys, thank you for watching, and keep booming and booping.
Keep booming and booping.